Hello. I wanted to talk a little bit about the melody to tinting tonight today. And we're going to talk about some of the other things that we've been talking about this week too. Playing through the chords, accompaniment wise, and then also kind of trying to come up with a little bit of a chord melody. But first, let's talk about the playing the straight up melody written in the book, except for we're using fingerstyle. Or at least I am. You can always do this with a pick too. Let's take that first, the opening two measures. And the first thing that I want to make sure is happening is that we have the proper amount of string muting going on. You'll notice if I don't have contact with some of the other strings, they're going to ring and make extra sound, and they're going to continue making sound until I stop them. Making sure that my eighth notes are nice and clean, that they don't sound laggy, that they have that nice amount of punch to them. And that would actually be another good practice, just taking something like your open G, making sure that the strings are muted, and just kind of practicing through that rhythm. The other thing to be aware of, kind of on the other side of that, making sure that the half notes and the dotted half notes are as long as they should be, and especially regarding the spots that do have rests in the melody. And you'll notice that really what I'm doing, for that first, it's the first dotted quarter, or excuse me, the first dotted half note. On that 4, I'm putting my finger back down on the string. I'm making sure that it stays as quiet as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. My finger goes back down on the string there too. That brings up that next point, just kind of increasing that awareness that there is some chord outlining going on here in the melody, and just to be aware of it. We did talk about this when we talked about Red River Valley. That was quite a while ago. but I'm talking about finding those little spots where we are outlining the upper parts of our chords, especially for people that are new. But right there on the second to last line, you're outlining the upper part of your C major chord, right? And the chord above it does say C, so that's also giving you a little bit of context. So it might be good for you to not necessarily blend the notes together exactly like you're playing a chord there, but you should hold the finger down and just get used to it being there. It's actually a great practice to be able to make sure that you can hear that E happening under the finger. And you will, especially if you're continuing to mute that string, but just hold it down. It'll just be an extra little practice for your chord prep. So next, what I'd like to do is I'm going to do the same thing that we've been doing in the previous few videos. I'm going to play through the chords and give you the opportunity to play along the melody if you'd like. Here is my low E string, my A, my D, my G, my B. See what I'm talking about string muting? And there's my E. We'll talk about how I'm playing through the chord changes after we play it through. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's go through and let's play through that. Let's play through that one more time. I'm going to do just about the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So now let's talk about a few things with playing the chords. A lot of the chord changes in this song are 2 chords per measure. So you're only going to be playing our little figure one time. And I'm playing the bass note with my thumb and the rest of the chord with my fingers. But the next question is, how am I doing the F chord? I'm doing it a little bit differently sometimes, just kind of depending on what kind of movement I want to have. But one of my go-tos, especially when I'm playing fingerstyle and especially when it's in the key of C, is this nice easy F chord. All it is F on the D string, A on the G string, and C on the B string. just goes really nicely in between your C chord. The other way that I'm playing the F chord at times is closer to your full bar chord. And I would do something like that, like possibly in that last like sequence in the last line. You actually saw me use both of them there, and that's just kind of to give some variety a little bit, because you know, if I want to go C, obviously, then F, and I'm back to C, but I only have a beat to do this F chord. This is another perfect opportunity for the smaller F chord to be used. And then actually getting into our next point, what about G7? My ending G7, because again, we only have that one beat for it, I'm only playing those 3 notes. Just to kind of simplify it for my hands a little bit, and just because I like the harmonic motion a little bit more. There are a few other times that I'm playing the G7 chord actually like this. I'm not actually playing the G7 chord, I don't think, at all, with kind of the traditional voicing, but that's okay. What I'm doing is I'm doing B on the A string, F on the D string, my open G, and D on the B string, which also has very nice voice leading back into your C chord. Oh, okay, how about that? Not quite that one. One more time. And as we're playing through these things, we just kind of come up with these little ideas, and then we work on them. It's the same thing that I've talked about for a long time. It's what we were talking about when we were talking about bass lessons too. Taking the stuff and getting into the inside of it, especially if you're at a point that you've been playing for a while and you're just trying to push yourself into learning how to do something new, how to do a different kind of accompaniment, and all that stuff. Just really sitting here and not only doing the work, but also kind of having the fun, because having the fun is kind of what it's about. But we get there by doing the work. Very cool. So the other thing that we've been talking about here at the ends of our little sessions together so far has been playing the bass note with the thumb and playing the melody with the fingers. And I actually kind of turned that into a little bit of a more full chord melody, even though I was really trying to keep that bass line going in my thumb. Excuse me. So again, that opening line, all I'm doing is remember that F chord that we were just talking about. It just has that nice movement in there, and the melody is right there. Excuse that. And I'm just doing C major triad. Then all I have is an F with a B in the bass. Remember that that G7 that I was showing you. It's just the lower part. And then just kind of creating that little bass line with our low G. And now we're going to see so this G7, we haven't quite talked about it. However, it is kind of a precursor a little bit, because here on page 38 of the extended edition, that is when we start talking about these chords, and this is one specifically from there. The next G7 chord that we get right there. That's another one that's going to be on page 38. But also referencing, remember that the new G7 chord that I was talking about, it's really just the upper half of that. So do make sure that that if you're playing it, you do want to play it with your pinky finger on the D and your ring finger on that F. Because we do want that movement to happen between the G7 and the C chord. Let's see, is there, and I think that those are pretty much the big talking points with the chord melody. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. That'll be fine. And I hope you're enjoying getting back into this series. I know that I am. This is a really important book to my teaching philosophy, and it's just really a lot of fun to be getting back into this stuff. I have some in-person students that are studying with this book again, and it's just it's really nice. It's been a while since I've done these Mel Bay lesson videos, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm glad to be back. You know, head cut off, fingers. We've talked about it. If you have any questions or anything, or you just want to say hi, leave a message in the comments, and hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you soon.